How are you doing today? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we are reading the fourth?
Yep, because if you liked our
Oh,
videos,
yeah, fourth. My bad. I'm sorry. Thank you, baby. Oh, and my lovely husband is joining me today. Presentation and the dress. 2 windy months passed, and your name learned much more information about the secret lab experiments. Recently, SOP had released their planning for a gala to celebrate its successful over generations and future goals in mind. With the important officials of different organizations given invitations, it was only a matter of time before the Laboratory of Science was included in the list as well. Your name's boss had required her and Jacob's attendance to fill in for his position as a family emergency had just popped up unexpectedly. No one knew the existence of the file except for the both of them, a situation they needed to stay at. When your name received the news of Gala, she was given an invitation made of a black card covered in golden fancy handwriting that she could barely read with all the swirls and squiggles. The printed lettering revealed the location to be held for the main building of SOF, and to bring a +1. Well, she had that covered. The instructions informed all the dress attire to be formal, women to wear gold-themed dresses and men to wear crisp suits with a good color somewhere on them. The invitations were informed to arrive at 8 p.m. on Friday, March 3rd, which was only 2 days away. The woman knew she didn't have much time on her side, so she decided she needed to go shopping for the dress. Finds out even though Laboratory of Science made company-owned clothing like swimming suits and lab coats to loungewear, they didn't make designer dresses and suits. Strange, but it didn't concern her since they would just cover the woman's dress bill. Your name was currently at the mall shopping for a dress to wear. A large mass of people crowded the shopping centers, which wasn't unusual as the sales had been advertised all month. A few designer dresses stores had been searched and passed, as she didn't find any spectacular or up to her expectation of looks and pay-wise. On the other hand, pays for their employees' equipment under $1,000. It was a good deal considering the tasks each worker had to endure each time. Some jobs being simple, others not so much. After desperately and irritatingly searching for an approved dress shop, your name finally laid her eyes upon a huge quartz doorway with black lettering spelling out Sandy's dresses. How ironic, but it'll do. When she walked into the air-conditioned shop, her eyes immediately widened and sparkled. Pearly white carpet lined the floor, and baby blue mixed with light purple walls surrounded her. Beautiful blue and purple couches lined a small living area. A fitting room stood between the couches near the register. The lighting was not too bright, but not too dim either, and the air smelled cleanly of citrus and strawberry. A smile stretched across your name's face, as she knew she found the perfect place. She walked around admiring the delicately stitched dresses and a few suits. It had been maybe less than 5 minutes that passed before her arms were draped with 5 glorious dresses that seemed promising in her own way, even if they weren't all in theme of the gala. The first choice she was a black sleeveless dress that reached her knees and flowed out of her hips like a flower dress. The middle of her chest was exposed in a diamond-like shape, The dress also had white sparkles surrounding it, as if mimicking a galaxy. The second dress was a dark maroon dress that went down to her ankles. It had spaghetti straps and showed a little bit of cleavage, but enough to look professional and elegant. There were also slits down the dress revealing her legs every time she walked. The third dress was a pale crimson red off-the-shoulder dress that flowed down to the floor. It was hugged from her body to the hip up, but below was loose and lengthy. It reminded your name of Belle's dress, but red from Beauty and the Beast in a way. The fourth dress was a bright yellow dress that flowed mid-stomach. The sleeves top part was a shade paler than the flowing skirt, and had patterns flowing and swirling with gemstones and on yellow, transparent skirt that reached the floor. It was gorgeous to say the least. The last dress choice was a much more revealing dress. It was pearly white dress that hugged your name's body perfectly and reached the floor. There were thin white collars that connected two white fabric pieces that covered the breast and attached itself to the skirt and the middle stomach. A lift fabric lined horizontally and ran across the mid-stomach for more detail and stability. Overall, it was an amazing dress, but not something that was appropriate for this type of occasion. After fitting each dress on and overthinking, and then decided to call Jacob. When he answered, she asked, "Was it theme yellow or gold? And does it need to look super expensive and fancy?" Jacob chuckled and replied, "Nice to speak to you too. And the theme is yellow or gold. The invitation information doesn't specify what it should look like or wear. What makes you comfortable?" After thanking him and saying goodbye, she hung up. She knew that her only option she could choose was now the yellow dress, since that really didn't fit the other skin colors, nor did it give her the as she was looking for. So she happily obliged with her chosen dress and went to the counter to pay for it. It was $450, which was a bit pricey, but worth it for one night at the gala. Your name had a plan to get more knowledge of the illegal business occurring behind closed doors of Save Our Planet, but it wouldn't be without risk, probably even dangerous and deadly. The woman acknowledged that she wasn't trained for what she was about to do, but she was desperate, needing to know the truth, and she would at this point do anything to save the planet she lived in, even if it meant infiltrating an extremely important and known organization, or maybe possibly kill someone. Would she? Superstitions and secrets. 2 days later, your name was walking home from long hours at work when she felt a vibration in her pocket. Grabbing her phone, she read the text. "Hey, your name. Just reminding you that at 8 tonight the gala is going to start. I'll pick you up at 7:30, okay?" Your name. "Okay, thanks." Jacob. "No problem." Your name sighed and put her phone away and continued on her way home. It was 6:45 by the time she made it to her apartment, so she would need to get in the shower and clean up. She removed her clean clothes and stepped into a steamy shower after waiting for it to heat up. Little pellets of warm water trickled down her body, relaxing tense muscles and aches. After washing her hair and body with her favorite strawberry scent shampoo and conditioner, she wrapped a fluffy gray towel around her body and walked out of the human bathroom, finishing drying off and putting moisturizer on her face. Your name quickly replaced her towel with undergarments before closing the drawer, straight towards the closet. Sitting nicely on a hanger at the back of her closet door was a neon yellow dress that she could wear to the gala, being instructed by a bunch of rich criminals. However, now was not the time to dwell on what was happening and going to happen. The ever-looming sense of dread was beginning to eat at her, and she didn't need the pressure of being around them. Taking the dress carefully off the hanger, she shimmied the expensive fabric on her body, flattening any crinkles or any debris while tracing her curves to ensure the dress fit properly. Your name decided with only 10 minutes left. She'd curl her silky hair and leave it at that. After achieving rushed, gorgeous curls, a few minutes were left, so she started gathering her things together, driving a yellow and black handbag that she, for some reason, had clipped black heels to match as well. The look wasn't supposed to look too flashy or give rich vibes, but she didn't put diamond earrings in that dangly to keep it up the cated, refined aura in order to fit in. Checking herself in the mirror, your name couldn't help but think she was being a little over the top. But this was her first undercover mission on a huge organization, and she certainly was not about to screw this up over one less accessory. After making sure everything was ready and complete, your name speedily did a soft makeup look that hopefully matched her outfit. Finishing up, setting a moisturizer mist and was sprayed on her face, and she mentally ended the timer on her head. Almost exactly after she finished with the accessories and dabbing on her makeup, the doorbell rang, echoing across her apartment. Opening the door, Jacob stands outside looking quite different. He wore a crisp black suit with an ivory white button-up shirt with a yellow tie that matched your name's dress. His dirty blonde hair is gleed and combed back at an angle, making him look even more attractive. You look amazing, your name. Are you ready to go? He asked with a slightly tipped smile. Nodding, the woman thanked him and returned the gesture before leaving her apartment. When they arrived outside, the glowing light of the sun was already hitting on the horizon. What a breathtaking view, your name thought as they walked down towards the sidewalk. A new-looking Mercedes. We were really here. Your name's heart felt like bursting from her chest, and a thin layer of shine was running down her face. Actually, was a great understatement. She was terrified. What if she didn't look or act like she belonged and screwed up majorly? What would happen if they got caught? She felt Jacob grab her hand and lead her to the front where the two hunky security guards, hol- holstering what seemed like loaded pistols, stood next to the man in black suit, holding a clipboard, welcoming those who were on the invitation list, while waiters wearing button-up under black vests parked guest expensive vehicles in a huge parking lot. This got properly
Yep.
funded, and it showed. As your name and Jacob entered the premises of the building, everything was practically shining with the price tag. Diamond chandeliers hung glamorously from above, glowing brightly, and the fancy gold trimmed furniture made the Kelly itself seem like a well-funded mansion that was worth billions of dollars. Someone with this much money could possibly buy a whole country because everywhere your name observed, something either sparkled or looked high quality. After immensely drooling for a minute, Jacob managed to find a table that was available to occupy, while a well-dressed waiter carrying a silver tray walked by offering drinks. But Jacob managed to snatch two glasses. Thanks, the woman said before taking a small sip. Your name shivered from the strangely bitter but sweet alcohol beverage. Before name, she'd never had alcohol stronger than cheap wine, so this definitely put her off. Looking up, Jacob's expression was similar to hers, but his face was masked with an almost laid-back aura. She glanced around, eyeing everyone who could be potentially targets, and so far 3 matched her suspect list. 3 sketchy, older-looking men in expensive, flashy suits seemed looked to be having some sort of secret meeting at a table, one of them holding a small object. Squinting to see further, she noticed it isn't just a small object. It was a flash drive. Maybe information on the blue vials and Muto's blood has anything there. Your name suddenly had an urge to run over and grab it. Desperation was slowly sinking into her bones. The longer she stared at the matte black drive in the man's hand, if she had the flash drive in her clutches, she could possibly save millions of innocent people in the end and end this horrific charade. Working in the blind spot, feeling a bigger hand over her own, nails gripping the tablecloth tightly. Jacob could practically feel the emotions rolling off of his partner, with the tactic of calming your name down. To the naked eye, it would seem like the blonde-haired man was showing affection to his dearly beloved. It was a quick-thinking solution, but the simple plan worked, and a long, thirsty minute passes. Jacob and your name filled in time and status quos by sipping on pricey champagne and dishes. Even just sitting where they were, they received more information by eavesdropping on those around or by occasionally walking as close as they could to get to the suspicious group of men. People started clapping suddenly while gathering to welcome someone. It was so important that they had to be surrounded by every single wealthy elite here. As a person came into view, your name could have sworn her heart had stopped beating. Mr. Zing?
Where? Yeah, Zing. Chinese name, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
In appearance, he was freakishly tall and short black hair weaved back, combed to the side and back. He wore a crisp black suit with a royal blue button-up shirt and a yellow tie along with a yellow handkerchief to give effect. His shined shoes matched almost perfectly with his suit, making him appear even more of a serious business leader. Your name noticed other gossiping about how amazing he was, and how his work was really making a difference on saving the world. What total BS, they all spoke. They didn't care about anything but money. This man was currently seated at a highly secured table with 2 buff-looking security guards standing on either side of him, and another not too far behind him. Jacob glanced at your name. There's too many guards. We need that information so we can go to Plan B. Your name eyed him skeptically before asking, "What's Plan B?" He exhaled nervously before quietly muttering, "You need to get closer," as in getting up close, talking to him, and asking him questions about what he does without sacrificing any red flags to him or anyone around him. She observed Jacob wearily before finally nodding. Raising from her seat was shaking hands. Before she left, she turned to Jacob and spoke in a hushed tone. "If I do this, then you need to grab that flash drive. I know you saw it too, so don't get caught. I'm pretty sure it's in his suit, so be creative without raising any alarms." Nina smiled weakly at Jacob before arriving at Mr. Zink's table. The distance between her table and Mr. Zink's was short, but she felt like decades had passed when she finally arrived. Wearing my heels approach him, he excused himself from his conversation with 2 men, trying to kiss ass their ways into the man's good side before he gave the woman a once over. I gave him a warm greeting, which he replicated, but in a less interested one. Mr. Zing just naturally had this aura of demanding control and seriousness in him that when he offered her a seat, Yunhang felt like she could have died right then and there. As she slowly sat down across from him and greeted herself, although the watchful glares of the guard on herself didn't sit right, she felt like a small rabbit being stalked by a bunch of highly trained hawks. After conversing about their views on business and possible ideas of working together, Yunhang thought it was the right time to start digging in a little deeper. So, Mr. Zing, you've probably heard already about the fight between Godzilla and Muto just a few weeks ago. He nodded and she continued, well, I was recently told from a private source that a secret organization had Muto's blood in their vicinity and was experimenting with things. I felt this was important for you to know just in case they did something horrible. She tilted her head innocently, knowing full well she slipped up by being blunt. She screwed up big time, but her only saving grace was to act arrogant and also kiss ass. Upon examining his facial expressions, if one observed closely enough, they would have spotted the slight reaction change. Not by a lot, but just enough to reveal panic. He swallowed and said dryly, no, I haven't heard. That sounds terrible. Who is this source of yours anyways? The situation could be taken care of immediately. Just from a rough-edged tone, Yunheng confirmed he knew and was in on it. I'm afraid I don't remember them. It was an anonymous exchange between me and the source. I just got a text one day, met up with them, and that's how I know this. Mentally face-palming, the woman couldn't even progress the non-believing lies she spelled. The misleading story sounded so unbelievable with nothing to back it up. Mr. Zing nodded slowly, and he seemed much more alert and aware of what was being spoken and how he was supposed secret had just been exposed by this woman. Jernay was about to ask another question in order to save herself from her slip up, mentally declining if it was too risky, although she didn't say it out loud. Anyways, one last question, if I may, Mr. Zing. I was wondering where you get so much money. I mean, it's just simply impossible even running a successful organization that has changed the world. I mean, like, the only way I could think of is, oh, I don't know, sold high-end drugs to other companies in secret for a quick cash, more control over them? Whoops. The, the woman was starting to regret opening her mouth. The towering man's sharp face started gradually growing darker as Yurna mentally slapped herself. Before she could even explore the possibility of leaving the table, he snatched her wrists roughly as she sat back down. Being only an inch from the seat before returning, she winced in alarm, grabbing at Mr. Zink's aggressive action. He seemed so angry. Suspicious, too. How do you know this? Who told you this? Who do you think you are? He demanded with gritted teeth and a scrunched up face. The security guards were at the ready and watching your name very closely now. One of them reaching for their weapon or a walkie-talkie. She couldn't tell. Your name stuttered. I'm a huge fan and I wanted to help. I'm just a reporter for a news channel. Please don't hurt me. She started shaking and on the verge of crying. Mr. Zinks noticed this and immediately released her, almost forgetting where he was. He tried to apologize to the woman, but Yunin got up in a flash and hurried back to her table. She wiped away almost falling tears and breathed back to her normal state, acting almost smug. She sat down with proof that Mr. Zing was connected or involved somehow in this scheme. With how much money he had gained in only a few months, your name wouldn't be surprised if he either kept tabs on finances or if he would maybe be ahead of it all. As soon as the interrogation was over and she was seated again, Your Name noticed Jacob give all the sketchy men a friendly hug as they laughed at something he supposedly said. The three men disappeared, and before she knew it, Jacob came back. He huffed in relief and took a huge gulp of the golden liquid sloshing around in the glass. Leaning towards the table he's and to me, he secretly revealed a glimpse of the black hard drive in his hand before sliding it under the table. I took the device and hid it in my handbag. For the rest of the evening, we took advantage of the food, drinks, and music playing in the background. Your Name knew three things for sure now. One, Mr. Zing possibly has information on this drive that most likely about the future ex- experiments and possibly blueprints. Two, Mr. Zing and his clients plan on using human test subjects for blue glass containers filled with some chemical in Muto's blood. Three, they also are drug dealers to obtain fast cash, which will finance everything they plan. After the party was settling down and it became later in the night, the two followed a few of the well-dressed groups of people leaving the gala. Jacob drove to Your Name's apartment to drop her off and left, exchanging goodnights. Staggering inside her own apartment, Your Name prepared a bath before struggling to remove every piece of jewelry and dress off. Laying under the hot water of the bath, lavender salts and apple-scented bubbles. They were added gradually, increasing the bubble size. After the long, relaxing bath, she changed into some comfortable pajamas before climbing into her cool bed sheets, placing the covers over her body and quickly falling into a deep sleep. Although a few thoughts swarmed her mind before she drifted off into much-needed slumber. What were they truly planning? Why did they have the flash drive in their possession, and what was on it? Sleep finally clouded her thoughts, and they hazily faded away into her memory. Your Name could only hope she knew what she was signing herself up for. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed these. I hope you guys have a great night or day, and I love you all so much. Please be careful out there. Don't do anything stupid. And you all have an amazing night. Bye.